Hello there, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for stopping by. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share this video. Today, I'm speaking about a conspiracy, and the conspiracy surrounding California wildfires. Now, I don't claim to be the brightest piece of crayon in the crayon box, but I'm definitely not the dullest knife in the cutlery drawer. And by the way, contrary to what some people have said, I'm smarter than a fifth grader. I want to talk about these wildfires for a minute in California. Number one, how they started. Well, typically if there's a fire, the fire happens, the heroes, and thank you heroes for coming out, law enforcement, fire department, FEMA, government officials, volunteers, all of those of you who, medical personnel, all of those that has been helping us get through this, and we're still not out of the forest. The fire is still going on. Today is January the 15th. This is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. Posthumously, happy birthday, Dr. Martin Luther King. Back to the topic, California wildfires, right? Whether you call it a conspiracy or whatever it is, half of the city is burned down, right? The Palisades, areas in Woodland Hills, Eaton, Altadena, Pasadena, and the list just goes on and on and on. And today we've been dealing with fire as early as this morning, in the wee hours this morning in Los Angeles. But here's the thing: I know that the wind is blowing. Just stay with me for a moment. Use your common sense, right? I think it's a conspiracy. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm usually not wrong. I was wrong one other time. That one other time, I'm joking. Okay, so you got the fire here. The fire is burning. And this is just gonna call this fire burning, right? Over here, you have houses and buildings, right? Houses and buildings. Whether it's a structure, whether it's a store, a supermarket, or if it's a chain eatery such as McDonald's, and some of the other places may have been affected. I can't think of the name, but some restaurants has been affected by this fire. Now, you have mountains. Let's just call these mountains, okay? Mountains. And the fire is coming across the mountain into these different neighborhoods and commercial outlets. And the fire is coming, and it's come across the hill, it's burning, 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 right? Now, I got sense enough to know, and I'm not a firefighter, that if I was driving down the highway, right, and there was a stop sign coming up, okay, I'm just gonna call it a stop sign versus trying to draw a octagon. Instead of trying to drive an octagon, I'm just gonna call this a stop. But I know if I'm driving in my car, typically there's a warning telling you there's a stop sign, especially if it's in a dangerous spot. Sometimes you don't get that warning. But if you see a stop ahead or a stop sign ahead, that's an indication right there. That's a clue that a stop sign is ahead and danger is ahead. So if I'm approaching this stop sign, I'm going this direction, I know to start using my BRAKE, my brakes. I'm going to apply my brakes as I'm approaching this stop sign. Now, the wind is blowing all over the place, I get it. But what I don't understand is why these firefighters are busy, and I'm not knocking the firefighters at all, I'm not doing that, right? But it's just strange to me how the whole doggone city is burning down, and you got hundreds of fire trucks. You have dozens of super scoopers, water, vessels that airplanes and helicopters and whatnot that scoop up the water, then they fly over the flames and they drop the water. What if, right? If we wanted to protect this, if we wanted to protect our house, what do? We lock the doors before we leave. We set the alarm. We make sure that the camera is working and all of that. So if we wanted to stop the water from getting here, why would we wait till the houses catch a fire, the buildings catch fire, and then start dousing the buildings, right? And then what is happening, the fire is so hot that the water is turning into steam and not putting the fires out. The wind is blowing. Now, I get it, the wind is blowing and it's harder to control it. But what about in recent days? There's been days and the fires, the wind has ceased. The wind has settled way, way down, right? So now the wind is not the big factor, it's just the fire, right? So we got clear conditions, we can get out, spray the fires out. What if I didn't want this, if I didn't want this to get on my house, right? I don't want the fire to touch my house. What can I do? Now, I've seen some residents on television. Some of them were dousing their houses with water, right? So what if this mountain, what if we could stop this fire before it get to the mountain? What if we just douse water all over the area that we want to save? Then these houses, it will never get there if the wind is not blowing. And another thing, for the umpteenth year, this is nothing new to California. California is always on fire. It's blowing wind all the time, earthquaking, right? There's always some mudslides, water. Everything is, the whole infrastructure is just stupid. That whoever created it is these people, I'm sure they're smarter than I am. They got to be smarter than I am. And this is their profession. This is what they do, right? Like I sell life insurance. So I'm looking at the cost of your house. How many children do you have? How much do you owe on your house? Is a child in college? How old are you? What is your health condition looking like? How much money do you have? When do you plan to retire? And I put all that stuff together and I can look down the road 10, 20, 30, 40 years at your life. This is what I do in my profession and I'm good at it. Why is it that these people who are good in their profession are not doing their goodest? If you want to call it best, they're not doing their goodest, okay? They're not doing their best to put these fires out and to keep this stuff from happening. Number two, if you know you're going to plant sod in your yard, right? You're going to lay sod or some type of grass, beautiful grass, expensive landscape. You know the first thing they do? They put in sprinkler systems. Why? Because it can water the grass. You can push a button and the sprinkler system come on and it sprinkles. And beyond that, right? At my house, we have sprinkler systems that we don't even have to touch. They already set and they come on, right? And in the neighborhood, the HOA makes sure that these things are working properly, right? But when it comes to putting out fires, we don't have the resources to put out fires. We don't have the resources to prevent fires. Yet we live in the most expensive, this is one of the most costliest state, if not the most costliest state in the United States, California. Living in California is really a waste of money, which is why a lot of people are leaving California. It costs a lot of money to live in California. And we are paying for what God gave us, nature, right? The sunshine is free. It just happened to be in this area, right? Mountains, man didn't build these mountains. God put these mountains in place, right? So we are paying all of this money to live here and to be in this danger. Now, you can't do nothing about earthquakes, I get it. But we shouldn't be doing no doggone fracking around here either. But think about it. In areas like the Palisades, right? And these are multi-million-dollar homes. You have celebrities over there, right? I won't name any celebrities, but you've been watching the news and you've seen some celebrities have lost their homes. Then what could have been done differently to prevent? We water the grass, we protect that. Why do we have something that when a fire breaks out, water shoots up in the air? just shoot up in the air, just like in my house. I have a sprinkler system all throughout the house, even in the garage. If the house catch on fire, then a signal happens through the alarm, and the fire extinguishers come out, right? And water starts coming all up. Everything gets wet. It puts the fire out. It wets up all my important documents and wets up my clothes and my hats. Well, I don't wear hats, but you know, you get the point. It messes up things in the house, but it saves the house. That's what it's designed to do. Why can't we douse the area before the water get there? The last I heard, water can't burn. A fire can't burn if it's wet. All you got to do is wet the area, right? Just like when you know, if you do your grass, you hit the system, you water the grass so the fire don't burn it up. But when we come to our multi-million-dollar homes, all of a sudden we get insane in the brain, and we can't understand that this stuff could have been, one, prevented, and two, stopped long ago. You burning down, it's been thousands of houses burned down. This is ridiculous. And the firefighters, I'm not knocking you. I know it's bigger than you. You're doing what you're told to do. I'm talking about the people in the administration. I'm talking about the people that's in government. I'm talking about people that makes the real decisions, not you firefighters. What you do, you are the workers that go out and do what they tell you to do. And you're doing a great job. I appreciate that. We appreciate you. But I'm talking about something bigger than the fire department, bigger than the police department. Now you watch and see. They talked about, see, some of these structures, they withstood the fire because they were made out of stucco or brick or stone or something like that that can't burn. So you were smart. You probably built the house because you liked the way it looked and not realizing in the end that God had a ram in the bush for you to prevent this type of thing from happening to you that has been happening to people for generations. That's all I'm saying. You know, some of this stuff is not rocket science. I might not be the brightest color in the crayon box, but I'm doggone surely not the dullest knife in the cutlery. I'm not the dullest knife in the cutlery. I got some sense, and I can think for myself. I don't have to watch the news to know how to put out a fire. I know if a fire needs two things. It needs something that will burn, number one, and number two, it needs oxygen. And then the next thing it needs finally, which is unrelated, is something to ignite the fire. So you need to start something that can start the fire, something that will burn. You need that. And you need oxygen to feed the fire. And through these high winds that we've been having, there you go. But also, we got to think about what are they doing? You notice in California, if you look into the sky don't never look right. Them clouds ain't no clouds. Them clouds don't look like no clouds. There's some funny business going on. They are not clouds. They look like clouds. They got airplanes going up there spraying and carrying on. We don't know who's doing what up there. And we look and say, oh, it's pretty. Oh, I've never seen that design. Go to Alabama and look in the sky. Go to some dark place in the country, North Carolina, backwoods, North Carolina, Virginia, and look in the sky. You're going to see a lot of stars in the night, and in the daytime, you're going to see what looks like real clouds, and not something that looked like somebody painted something. And you look through the whole sky. I can stand in my backyard or front yard and look up. And the sky does not look right. And then right over here, you'll see a cloud, all this right here. All this over here is nothing over here. But you just look right here, and all this is going on. And then it might be another little piece of cloud over here and a little streak right across here. Look at it. And then the sky turns so orange and purple. Beautiful colors in the evening. Why? And it'll be the same thing, orange, purple. Orange, purple is orange. Just in one little streak. Almost like a turd. Just a little streak. Like a, you know what I mean? A snake or something like that. something is not right. I don't know what it is, but something is not right. And it's time for some answers. It's time for us to start digging deeper in our research, sharing what we know. Because these people are doing this most of the time, it is money driven. How much money can I get? Think about it. You get all these millions of dollars because you're doing dumb stuff like this, and then you don't have no family, no friends to enjoy that with, and you're miserable. Because when you go out and you get things the wrong way, in the wrong way, then now you can't sleep at night, which is why a lot of these people, they get rich, they lose the money, then they kill themselves. You see this person, judge so-and-so, senator such and such. This person over here done killed themselves, shot themselves, killed up the whole family and all that stuff because we are really messed up. And I think that this mental health thing is something that's way bigger than what we think it is. And a lot of what we don't even know. You know, every year we're coming up with something new towards mental health and how to deal with mental health. But a lot of this stuff is coming from greed. Greed. I remember reading a book in high school called The Canterbury Tales. And in the Canterbury Tales, it talks about, basically, if you haven't read it, it's too much to explain. But if you haven't read it, it's a good book. But the moral to the whole story is greed leads to destruction. Greed leads to destruction. The greedier you are and the more you are stealing and hurting people, the law of reciprocity says that what goes around comes right back around. So you start out here and things are looking good for you, but when you go all around the circle and come back around, you're going to hit that point again. You reap what you sow. These people in LA and Ventura County and LA County, we don't deserve to be dealing with this stuff. We can't breathe. My eyes are looking all dark and crazy. My nose have been running for the past few days. It's just ridiculous. I just talked to one of my friends and she was rushed to the hospital the other day in the wake of all that's going on. But in the aftermath, we need to stop and really examine what's going on. We need to examine the people that we're putting into politics. And we are voting based on money, or money that we think we have. But life is about, you can't carry money with you to the grave. And life is about much more than money. And the people who, the powers that be, they are chucking rocks and hiding their hands. They are lying, they are playing games, and it's going to catch up with them. Just like my family is dying, so is yours. So is yours. Your whole family dying just like mine because of foolishness like this. And it's time for us to step up and to have a voice. And not just at the poll, but we need to start doing stuff like this when we see crazy things in the air, video, like we do, like many of you already do. Post that stuff. When you see something, don't become meek and close your mouth and don't say nothing. Bystander apathy, it's time out for bystander apathy. It's time for, because this is something that's gonna affect you and your household, your children, your parents, and yourself. Premature death is what this stuff. We've been breathing all this fire in for a week and a half. Don't you think there's gonna be some repercussions and consequences that's gonna happen inside of our bodies? And sometimes you're sick, you can't sleep at night, you're having fevers. I've been having night sweats. I've been waking up in the middle of the night. And I guess it's fever. I haven't felt bad enough to go to the ER yet. But at the same time, this is something that's serious and we have to tackle this. You know, it's our bodies. And we don't have to sit there silently and take this mess from these people and the powers that be. It's time for us. You run your mouth about everything else. You're in the break room talking about everybody else and everything else. You're on the phone talking about everybody else. You're on the internet talking about everybody else. Talk about the stuff that makes a difference. That's all I'm saying. Talk about things that's going to help somebody. And if that's not what you're doing, you're just wasting time. It's good, it's nice to see a dog jump through a hoop or turn a flip. It's nice to see a bird that look like it can dance. And this is okay. But at the end of the day, let's get down to the facts. Let's handle the real deal Holyfield. Things like this. That's what you need to be doing. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you for stopping by. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, like and share this with everybody. Until the next time, take care of yourself and each other. Be back at you soon.